Hello, my name is Amr Shehab, and I'm the Head of Agency Development for Snapchat in the MENA region. Today, we'd like to talk to you about the imminence of AR as a bona fide marketing channel adapted to its time and audience. While AR is not a new topic, it is shrouded with myth and often dismissed as a fad. You will often hear that it's a gimmick where teens put on dog ears or change genders for a laugh, or an application more at home in sci-fi and futuristic movies rather than a present-day medium. And even if it's part of our present times, some would think that it has little incidence on brands and marketing plan, beyond the odd innovation, especially when compared to carefully curated executions such as video. Another misconception revolves around the complexity and cost of creating AR lenses. Because it looks so cool, it probably takes a lot to create, right? Well, we're here to show you that quite to the contrary, AR is very much of a current medium, which we believe will be a mainstay of marketing in 2021, with clear use cases, commercial impact, and a relatively simple idea-to-market path. To do so, I'd like to invite my colleague Vish Badiani, who is the Head of Creative Strategy at Snapchat for the region, to take us through his views on the myth and realities of AR.
Thanks, Amma. So we're looking at dispelling a few myths here, namely that AR is a gimmick for kids and that it's time-consuming and expensive to create. In the next 15 minutes, I'll try to tackle these before giving you a very practical prediction about where we see AR going in 2021. So myth number one, AR is little more than a gimmick for kids. Let's take the gimmick part first before we dive into the audience. You referenced dog ears and gender change, and these are definitely very famous augmented reality experiences, but they're not the only ones. One of the first and most famous lenses is the rainbow vomit lens. You can say hello to Hassan, our poor and unsuspecting production manager, who sent me some recordings. He's going to be very famous after today for all the wrong reasons. The gender change lens, or stepsister, stepbrother lenses, were launched just last year, and they went viral almost instantly. We also recently launched lenses that transform you into elderly or baby versions of yourself. And just a few months back, the anime-style lens, powered by real-time machine learning, turned you and your surroundings into a scene from Dragon Ball Z. The technology behind these experiences shows how far AR has come. But beyond showing off advancing technology, what they also do is generate mass engagement. To give you a sense of what I mean by mass engagement or viral, the anime lens from the previous slide was opened and played with by over 3 billion people in its first week. By tapping into culture, people find these experiences relevant and funny, so they play with them and share them all over the place. Within Snapchat, of course, but also across other platforms and messaging apps too. After which, people start to find ways to use them in everyday video and image-based messages to their friends and family. And sure, some might call this a gimmick, and at first sight, I totally see why it looks that way. But this is how AR at scale began, and why it continues to grow. It's through these organic, playful, and universal experiences that over 67 million people in our region have learned to play with AR, even if they themselves may not even realize that's what they're doing or what they call it themselves. For marketeers and brands, the popularity of these experiences demonstrates why AR isn't a tech for tomorrow anymore, but rather a massive opportunity for today. Just on Snapchat, over 85% of our daily users interact with lenses every day, nearly 30 times a day. So while the experiences you reference are definitely fun and entertaining, AR is far from just a gimmick. It's become a normalized and daily behavior for millions of our users and your consumers. And whenever consumer behavior evolves and is normalized at such scale, it offers a huge opportunity for brands and savvy marketeers to start reshaping how they connect, engage, and storytell. As far as advertising formats go, and this is a marketing conference after all, AR lens experiences are not served to you. You have to choose to open the lens carousel, choose a branded lens experience, and choose to engage. We see millions of people spending on average 15 seconds, and in some cases up to 90, playing with these branded experiences, after which, in nearly all cases, they save and share. There simply isn't another ad format that works in this way. In turn, This creates a retargetable audience that has shown very high intent and affinity towards your brand. And this is why, as an industry, we need to think about making two really big shifts. Number one, brands, agencies, and marketeers need to think again about how they evaluate digital media, away from purely using vanity metrics and towards quality interactions. We need to find a better way to measure meaningful attention to supplement CPMs and CPIs. And number two, in addition to more traditional, familiar, and linear advertising formats like film or poster or search, we strongly believe AR lens experiences deserve to be on the asset list agencies deliver for campaign toolkits right now, because they are totally opt-in, they drive real engagement, they build advocacy, and highly valuable audiences. In terms of what's possible, AR really is a blank canvas. I showed you a clever voucher reveal game for Noon, along with a very advanced shoe try-on for Gucci, and a fully immersive in-store experience for Ibrahim Al-Qureshi. Here, you can see a virtual test drive for Lincoln, a different kind of in-store experience for Tommy Hilfiger, and a product try-on for L'Oreal. Others are bringing 2D posters and point of sale to life, from Jordan launching a game through AR, to Polo Ralph Lauren and even the LA Rams building an AR animation activated by their logo. And while some of these examples I'm showing are global, the vast majority are actually from right here in MENA. So sure, it may have felt a little Pokemon Go or Minority Report a few years ago. But now, if you still believe AR is just a gimmick, you're missing a massive opportunity to add depth, dimension, and impact to your marketing mix. The other misconception is one about age, that AR is only for kids or younger audiences. We recently did some research and found the vast majority of 16 to 18-year-olds who downloaded Snapchat 9 years ago still have it and use it. They're now 25 to 27 years old. We've been with them through school, through college or university, and into their first jobs and first meaningful relationships. This cohort is now a much more viable and relevant audience demographic for most brands and marketeers. And as other markets try to build legitimacy with older brackets, in MENA, our audience profile and population pretty much reflects the national profile. Sure, we definitely appeal to people who are creative and open-minded, but we don't skew young whatsoever. And that's why AR is today and right now a hugely powerful way to own a moment. That could be a cultural moment like Ramadan, a national moment like National Day, a brand moment, the launch of a new product or promotion, or more human, everyday moments like salary week, weekends, or even coffee times. And this is why we see huge brands across the region really leaning in. Some are absolutely looking to attract younger customers, but also we have clients targeting older, niche, or broader mainstream audiences like STC, Lincoln, BMW, Amazon, Unas, Dior, L'Oreal. The list goes on and on. Now, on to myth 2, and this one still surprises me. As far as I can see, this isn't even a myth. It's an excuse to keep doing the same things over and over again. Because familiarity is easy and comfortable, whereas change can be challenging. I'm telling you all today, categorically, AR does not have to be difficult or expensive. You could do it today, right after this call, in just a few short steps. At one level, you can now download for free software to build very advanced AR experiences. This software allows skilled 3D creators to pretty much create anything imaginable. It's actually the exact same software our internal teams use, and what we use to rebuild the buyer's house for all of you Stranger Things fans out there. However, this is not a reason to feel daunted or reluctant. Firstly, to make it easier, we've also developed many pre-built templates so you can build and create even if you're not someone that's as familiar with 3D. And it seems to be working. What we see, especially across MENA, is that Lens Studio has become a new way for people to express themselves creatively. And it's establishing a new culture amongst artists in the region. When they used to go to After Effects or Photoshop to make videos, they're now going to Lens Studio to create lenses. At the end of Q3 2020, over 1.5 million lenses had been created by our community through Lens Studio. On average, over 30% of total snaps sent every day feature a lens from the community, with top performing community lenses reaching billions of views. And here's just a small sample, which just proves more than anything how accessible AR really is today. Secondly, for brands who don't have the expertise or interest in learning how to build AR experiences themselves, there's a whole ecosystem that can be tapped into. Agencies are definitely starting to see the value of AR too, and right now there are more than 130 agencies and creators that have been certified to build lenses in the last 18 months. Thirdly and finally, beyond Lens Studio or a creative partner, earlier in the year we launched Lens Web Builder, the first and only self-serve AR creation tool that enables your team to build a lens experience simply in moments, right from your desktop. We've got a catalogue of hundreds of pre-built and pre-tested 3D assets for you to play with. Drawing the myth-busting section to a close, whether you want highly advanced and immersive experiences or simply fun and share-worthy ones, whether you want to try AR out or go all in, these tools democratize the creation of AR, making it faster and cheaper than ever to build AR experiences on your own terms. The uplift in usage we're seeing makes it very clear that the savvy and innovative agencies and clients are already taking advantage, rather than making excuses or perpetuating false myths. Before I pass back to Amma to wrap up, I want to talk a little bit about where we see AR going. We really are only beginning to scratch the surface of what's possible. And as you'll have all seen from Apple's and Google's talks recently, the future for AR looks very bright indeed. We've already started mapping neighbourhoods to allow shared AR experiences. This is live right now in London's famous Carnaby Street. And we've started to apply machine learning with the end goal of allowing people to use AR to learn more about the world around them through visual search. PlantSnap developed the ability to identify 90% of all known plants and trees, with more than 600,000 types in their database. So when you see a plant you think would look great in your living room, you can use your camera and learn the name, its origin, and even how to take care of it. Imagine a world where instead of typing what you want, head down through your two thumbs, which is a learned and unnatural behavior driven by the keyboard, you're instead able to simply point your camera to trigger an AR overlay with relevant and useful information. But I can already hear the naysayers reaching for the gimmick alarm. But wait, let's imagine the commercial possibilities that tech like this unlocks together. Let's take retail as a simple example, a sector that has been really badly affected by the way this year has unfolded. Generally, retailers have mastered their own version of an in-store retail experience. It has richness and depth. You can see, touch, and admire the product in all its glory. You can compare it to other products, and then you can speak to a knowledgeable sales assistant and have all your questions answered. The only friction comes from the inconvenience of physically having to go to the store, and to some extent the uncertainty surrounding the experience, waiting times or availability and lead times. The move online has removed this friction completely. All of a sudden, shopping has become hugely convenient and accessible. It's 24/7, it's on demand. Web pages load instantly on laptops and in most cases on tablets and mobile phones too. Thousands of products with images and prices sit there, but they're so static. Typically they're sitting in pure, clean white boxes, often well shot, but far from the in-store experience. We've added convenience for sure, but at what cost? We've lost all the depth and richness of a real-world retail experience. I think the challenge now is to understand the role AR plays. AR doesn't replace either. Consumers will always want choice. Our vision of the world is that by adding AR to both the in-store experience and the online experience, you remove these frictions completely. And more importantly, you strengthen your brand's chance of winning at every key point along the customer journey, from discovery and consideration through to trial, purchase, and ultimately post-purchase and advocacy. Just imagine for a second if your app had fully rendered 3D models of every product instead of only flat images. I could quickly see how these products would look on me or in my living room, and this experience would not only delight me as a shopper, but I could be quickly moved from the discovery phase of a purchase journey to the consideration phase. And even if I still wanted to go to the store to see the product in real life, what if my experience was enhanced with AR? While I waited, with options for accessories instantly offered with information about availability and delivery times, or games that even earned me a discount while I was waiting. Just the thought of this makes me so excited. And it demonstrates just how quickly the retail experience could drastically change, not in the coming years, but in the coming months. And thankfully, I'm not the only one. It excites your customers too. In Accenture's recent Immersive Experiences survey, published just last month, 47% of consumers feel more connected to products that leverage interactive technologies like AR. And from our very own research, we know that 75% of Snapchatters wish there were more AR experiences in the shopping experience. In this very, very short time, especially for the detractors amongst you, I hope I've done enough to intrigue and excite you too. Our camera is getting smarter and smarter, and as the value of AR becomes obvious to everyone, I urge you all today to start thinking differently and to reevaluate your traditional marketing toolkits and start seeing AR assets as a necessity rather than a novelty. Back to you, Amma.
Thanks, Vish. So there you have it. We firmly believe, based on evidence we work with every day, that AR has matured as a technology, both from user proficiency and commercial relevance. In 2021, AR will not just be out of the niche, but will have a promising future in terms of technology and possibilities. If you were to only retain 3 things from what we discussed today, those would be: first, don't wait. AR is a normalized behavior for millions of users, most of them consuming adults, and has proven its ability to support brands across their commercial efforts. Secondly, expense and time are convenient myth. You can even build an AR lens yourself, right now, with intuitive, free-to-use software. And finally, AR's future is bright. 3D fidelity is on the rise, and so is machine learning, creating more executions that enrich both physical and online commerce experiences. I'd like to thank you, on behalf of Vish, myself, and the entire Snapchat team, for listening to our predictions about AR, and hope to see you take further steps into this exciting future.